can have an argument over if you should or should not throw over the off season.
Wait, you think you shouldn't throw? Okay,
I
okay, okay. We'll get
we'll
into it.
we'll get into it.
Okay. All right. So this is what episode 3 of
Episode
the
3.
episode 3. I did not think we were gonna make it this far, but we did. So yay for that.
Wow,
Um, but this
so much
episode,
confidence in us.
right? I mean, I have little to no confidence, but that's what makes me me, I guess. But so this episode, we're going to cover like what I do for the off season, what Austin does for the off season, because there's a lot of ways to want to skin that cat. Because
Yep.
I mean, I do it way differently than most. But let's have your take, Austin. Like what's your game plan for an average off season?
Yeah, so and I have started to kind of reconsider this a little bit, but I generally throw almost not at all over the off season. And I just focus on getting stronger without that extra wear and tear of throwing. And I think this really comes down to, for me, when I started throwing, I essentially had just started lifting heavy weights in the gym. And so I was really focused on technique and building decent technique. And then the hole I needed to fill more in the off season was strength. So lifting heavy. And I mean, early off season, I might do just heavy lifting and not worry about velocity
Sure.
training. At this point, I've only ever lifted to throw. So if I have to grind out a lift, I'm probably not getting that lift. Just like I don't know
Yeah,
how to do it anymore.
I get that.
So, and now I am getting stronger. So maybe it is a good idea to spend some time drilling. I still don't know that I do a lot of full throws.
Sure.
I did actually today saw my dad's 12-pound hammer when I was over there, and I gave that a few winds, and I'm pretty sure I figured out why my hammers were broken at the end of the season. So
Okay.
that's good, now that I'm not throwing anymore this year.
I guess better late than never.
Yeah. No, I'll forget by spring, so it's fine.
Yeah. Gotta write it down on a sticky note somewhere.
I'll throw it in my box.
So when you lift heavy, like, are you just kind of doing a continuation of like what you had been lifting before, like in
No,
season, just no throwing?
no. This off season and last off season, did I start this last winter? Just about, yeah. So it's just Olympic lifting. So yes
Yeah.
to that now is just doing Olympic lifting. I screwed up and didn't end up getting registered for the meet that I was trying to do this weekend.
Okay.
So I did it in my garage anyway, and having spent 6 weeks prepping for lightweight nationals, my clean and jerk was my clean was okay. My jerk's bad, so
Mm-hmm.
didn't go great anyway. But
Right.
hit all 3 snatches up to 85 kilograms. Open clean and jerk at 110. Pressed it out. Did it again. Got it. Went to 115 and just completely missed that jerk. So, worse off than the last meet I did. But snatch was better, so that's good.
And the snatch is the hard one. So
Yeah, no, because your old gym, you had the sign behind you that said no crying. I was
yeah.
going to go out to my gym and have my whiteboard back there and then have just, it's okay to cry while snatching.
That's a sentiment I can get behind.
Right. Well, there's a training one of the training days leading up, because I started the meet prep and then realized that I wasn't, like, I went to register earlier and then I didn't actually get through that process. I went back to do it and it was already full. So I was already in the meet prep mode, and there's no video of my snatches because by the time it got heavy enough for me to bother recording, like, I didn't even get to that point because I was missing before I thought I was gonna want a recording of it. Which, why I'm not recording everything, I don't know. But
Yeah.
it's but yeah, so that is just kind of changing focus this off season, to not have an off season, just have a different season, like I'm still in high school and not in my mid-30s, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, you're a multi-sport athlete.
Yeah. But before I was doing that, I'd switched to, like, first thing off season would be a higher volume um, conditioning if I want to block. Um, and then from there, it'd go into like a heavier block.
How
And then
how long would be like your like high volume block?
6 weeks, I think,
Yeah.
with a deload in the middle.
Okay.
6 to 8 with a deload. I don't, and then it'd be, they're pretty consistently 6 to 8 week block cycles. I
Cool.
could be wrong on that because I paid someone to
Yeah,
figure it
you
out
got a
for
guy
me.
for
So
that. Yeah.
I just opened the app like, all right, that's what we're doing today. Um, but yeah,
But
so I think it's good to do that high volume block going into the off season. Uh,
I think
and
that's super important, especially for lightweights to try to like. I mean, I think 6 weeks for like in like this kind of what I'm thinking of is a little short. It'd be closer to like 10 to 12 weeks of high volume to just pack on weight, to just get fat, but like you're cultivating mass to a point. And
right,
so like when you start getting into season, like you're like sliding into that early season phase, like you can kind of drop the weight, but you didn't put on too much, like 20 pounds at most, something that you could cut if you need to, but like you've actually put on muscle during an off season.
right,
But that's like a 10 to 12 week kind of ordeal.
right.
Depending on when you ended will kind of dictate of how long that actually will be.
Yeah, and I don't know, like, maybe you can handle it, but I don't think my body would hold up to throwing during that block.
It's not great. It doesn't feel great, but I think there's benefits.
Yeah, no, I'm sure there are. I Drills, I think, are reasonable to do in the off season.
Mm.
Um, I know you kind of talked about this last week too on drills versus full throws and what's available. I mean, you're not that far south from me, but
No.
the weather is nicer in the winter still.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that I
Yeah.
couldn't go out and throw, but I don't want to.
Yeah, dude, midwinter when like it's 35 degrees outside, it's it's hard to get out there. If the wind's blowing, it's miserable. But I don't know.
I mean, Avasa just opened like 2 minutes from my house,
You're right there.
and I'm seriously considering getting a membership. Just like, it's -10 degrees. The garage is going to be 20 degrees.
You know,
I'm going to make that
I
2 minute drive.
I would kill for that facility near me because I will be there in a heartbeat. Because throwing outside in the winter is it sucks so much.
Yeah.
We have no indoor facilities here unless you go to college, and well, I'm a little past that.
Yeah, I did spend some time trying to figure out how to use UNL's facilities for throwing, and I don't know if they don't want me to or if it's a niche enough thing that no one's ever asked.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, and I never figured it out.
I mean, if I can gain access to an indoor facility just for shot put, like that will help a ton. But because
Yeah,
that's two events right there, two of my worst events. So if I get like
right.
good clean practice during the off season, I'll take
You
it.
know, I'm not gonna say this is the problem, but I was thinking about the other day. Do you think that because you can't snatch well, that's why you can't throw lob high?
Um, yeah, I think that's part of it, but snatching's hard. I think throwing wob is easier than snatching. Like
Yeah,
for me to go out in the
yeah,
backyard and throw like 15 wobs, like I get that. And I feel like I'm like chipping away at a little bit of progress. But if I'm in the gym and doing 15 snatches at really any like reasonable weight for me, I don't feel like I'm making any progress doing it. I'm just feel like I'm just spinning my wheels.
yeah, yeah.
So I don't know, man.
That's fair.
I think I'm going to put a little more emphasis on the Olympic lifts
Yeah,
this off season because it is a weak point in my gym game. So
I got I got Matt doing the Olympic lifts now too.
yeah,
Yeah, you sent me a text the other day. It's like just did my first clean and jerk in I don't know how many years.
nice.
So he's 40 now. So for him to get to the Masters Nationals, it just needs like a 202 total.
Hmm.
So you can definitely do that.
Yeah.
So
Is that all you got for you? Like how you structure your off season?
yeah, I mean the velocity based training definitely comes into it. More in season, but definitely uh, when you start leading into late winter, early spring, uh, just making sure you're moving that bar. And the off season it can be a little bit slower, and slower is I say bottoming out at about a foot a second or a third of a meter.
Okay.
Point 0.3 to point 0.6 is kind of the range that I'm shooting for I guess squat or bench or deadlift, and if and uh, I I don't know, like there's a very small window under zero point 0.3 meters a second for me where it's
Right.
not going. it's, it's either above 3 or it's not happening. And then my other uh, off season deal is not every year because it sucks a lot.
Hmm.
Is I'll do a squat program that's similar to I think it's, Tom has it labeled as Sorlov,
Oh yeah, yeah.
where it's not exactly what the Russians were doing because I'm not taking a bunch of stuff.
Right.
So that I've seen. I think it's an 8 week program.
So that's
That
like his version of the Smolov like squat
yeah,
program. Yeah.
yeah. And I think I
Those,
went. I think I've added about 30 pounds to my squat both times. So
that's not nothing.
yeah, I still don't have a great squat, but it's better,
Yeah.
and I blame it on having to just go a long way.
That's exactly it. It's far to travel.
Oh, and I also do a high bar Olympic style squat.
Hmm.
The whole time I've been with Tom, he's like, "Stop low bar squatting unless you have a good reason to do it." I'm like, "It's less comfortable, but fine."
The
And now it's fine.
Tom Stroloff program reminds me of like, man, I think it was like 10 years ago. Where there's like a lot of power lifters who got a hold of like Boris Shako's like programs, and like all these powerlifters would be like, oh, I'm running Shako number 14 and stuff like that, and Boris Shako, because like they're all numbered, but they're all for an individual. And Boris is like, yeah, number 14, that's for like a 15-year-old girl. That was her powerlifting program that I wrote. And everyone's like, oh man, that was a tough one. Like,
Well, and it would be because I mean, typically women are better at higher volume work than men are
right.
for
But the point was
lifts,
is
but
that
yeah,
like they're taking like just the smallest portion of Shako's like
right.
methodology and just like, yeah, this is what I want to do.
Well, it's really hard to build a program. So just take one
Yeah.
and use it and pretend
Well,
it's for you.
I mean, yeah. And you got to do it for years and years to figure out what you actually need to be doing, what you don't need to be doing.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
I mean, like you can read like super training and oh man, like any like Verkhoshansky kind of stuff, and like you get a good understanding of like how to do it, but like it's so like in depth that like us normal people can barely like scratch the surface on like how to actually implement like these methodologies.
Well, and if you're not a coach, like you just don't have the reps of programming to get good at it.
Right.
Like I've dabbled in coaching a little bit and it's really hard. It's not a skill set that I have without working at it. And I got enough other stuff that it's not something that I want to work at. So I'm just going to let other people do it.
I'd be a bad strength coach because I'd just throw 5-3-1 at them and just be like 5-3-1's good enough. Keep doing it. Add 5 pounds and then do it again.
Uh,
But
I had there's a gym here in town called One Up, and
mhm,
it was an awesome facility. They had at the time they still had like commercial gym prices, but a powerlifting gym setup, a
yeah,
little bit of strongman stuff. It was really cool. And they had uh, connected to it kind of next door, they had a baseball training facility, which
mhm,
was just an open warehouse with some nets and AstroTurf,
yeah,
which was great for throwing shot. So I just got an indoor shot and tried to make some indoor weights.
mhm.
Don't do that. Buy them.
Yeah,
Nothing I did worked. I spilled just shot everywhere. It was bad. So that was great. But while I was there, there was a coach who like, had just got certified with starting strength,
oh yeah,
and he
dude,
was so
five by
deep into
five.
that Kool-Aid that like he was convinced that he could start strength and conditioning coaching like any NFL team and just get them on starting strength and they'd become way stronger than any other football team. And that if I started starting strength, I could stop throwing, get stronger, and then throw better.
That's starting strength, man.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
apparently the best thing ever.
I don't want to
But
besmirch the great Mark Ripito, but
no,
any good athlete from like when starting strength was big, like 10, 12 years ago, they don't do it anymore
well,
because it's
it's in the name.
right. And like, and that would be, I mean, granted, I'm probably going to catch a lot of shit for this, but like,
That's why we're here.
yeah, like Ripito would say like, yeah, like this is just like your baseline, you build from there. But his methodologies are dumb. Like, just like like his ideas for like Olympic weightlifting, like he thinks that he's very adamant about this, that if like we will win Olympic gold medals in weightlifting if we follow like his tenets of starting strength. And then every Olympic strength coach is like, no, like there's a reason we don't do that because we stopped doing that 60 years ago.
Yeah.
Starting strength.
Yeah. But I mean, that's, I think it's, I think it's nice to to switch over to a miserable programming set at the off season, just to remind yourself what you could be doing
Yeah.
instead of throwing.
Very cool. Oh, so like when you're talking about like you drilling and whatnot, uh, if you were to go out and do some drills like in the off season, like what kind of like things are you looking to be doing?
Oh yeah, yeah. So do hammer winds are easy to do. They don't take a ton of space as long as you have the ceiling height for it.
Yeah.
Uh, Footwork drills for like weights, just doing uh, empty hand turns or turning with just like a section of PVC pipe, like a hammer handle or something to get that length
Yeah.
kind of timing down. Uh, I I have a really weak block arm on stones,
Hmm.
and just getting a knotted up towel and go through your stone positions and then block and get the towel thrown behind you. There's probably a
Okay.
name for that drill. I don't know what it is,
I
but
bet there is. I know
um,
what you're talking about though.
yeah, doing that thing is good. What other events are there? I don't have any chief drills. Don't have any wob drills. I mean, there's a water butter drill, but
Right.
that's
Might as well
different.
might as well be throwing it, you know.
Yeah, yeah, that's not something you're gonna do inside. Uh, yeah, footwork turns for open stone, pivot drills and whatnot. Uh,
One thing that I really like for like if you're like drilling weights for distance to get that like that length, uh, bowling pins. You find like a real like bowling pin, like they have weight to them.
yeah,
They'll stretch you out, but like it's not enough to like throw you around at all. Like you still go through the motions, hit all your positions with like a little bit of heft in your hand. They are
yeah,
super cool. And even for like warming up, you can throw those things out in a field in their bowling pin. They could
that's
take
probably
it.
pretty fun.
Yeah.
That seems like it'd be fun to throw.
Yeah. The bowling pin is
But
one of the best ideas I've heard.
I did get to throw a tire the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my buddy just got a farmhouse. As I went out there to help him clean some stuff up, and there was just a tire, so I threw it. Of course,
That's
because
the move.
yeah, you find something, you're gonna chuck it. I didn't measure, but I mean probably like 300 feet. Don't look into it.
I'm the best.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which tangent before you get into your off season,
sure.
which I know you try and throw a lot more than I do,
I do.
and maybe this is an entire episode to debate it and rank the whole list. Best best 10th event.
Oh, we can do that right now. I mean, if we want to rank it,
No, just like what's your top pick? If you got to pick a 10th
man,
event, what do you want to do?
half weight wob is very fun.
Sure.
We would throw 28. I really like that.
I did it once, and I my timing was real bad, and I left it out in front all two throws.
It's yeah. See, this is kind of why I like it. Is like good wob throwers like will have issue with it. I'm like, I don't know. It all sucks. This one just goes higher.
So, of the ones I've done, I got to throw a folding chair once
Yeah,
up in
that's cool.
South Dakota, and it was kind of a windy day. So, I think I think I ended up like, I don't know, second or third out of it.
Mhm.
The winning throw was like 230 feet.
You gotta get a special tape for that. You gotta bust out the 300-foot one.
Yeah, no, I think we had to like get two tapes. I don't think there was a 300-foot tape there. I think we just had
Yeah,
to go to the end of one and be like, okay, so that's a little bit here.
yeah,
So that's a good one. There's a
that's
lot of good
cool.
ones. Yeah.
I mean, I guess right now for a 10th event, I mean, you can like it's not really a throwing event, but it is like a separate thing that we do. Right? Was in Wichita, we did that farmer's carry. Would you count that as a 10th event, or would you not?
I would. It's an
Yeah,
extra thing.
I mean
It's
that's
not a
pretty high.
throw, but
That's pretty high up on my list because I did pretty good at that. I was very surprised.
yeah.
It was a
The
big grip weekend for me. I'm on like we had um, the little gripping machine that measures like your grip strength, and mine was the
diameter?
highest.
Yeah.
What did you call it? Tachometer?
No, it's like a dynamometer or something. I
I
don't know.
think I think you're close. I don't know if that's
I might
right,
have
but
made that. It doesn't sound right,
it
but
feels close. I'll
it
give it
does
to you.
feel close.
So
Yeah.
we had the dynamometer, and we're passing around to everyone to see what everyone's grip was, and mine was pretty good. We did that like earlier in the day. I did like the Friday before, and then earlier in the day on Saturday.
So you're practicing.
Well, I just turns out I got a pretty good. I have like pretty like strong like crushing grip. I don't know how that translates to like other like grip tests, but so I felt like I had to win that farmer's carry because I didn't want to like lose based on my grip strength because like a lot of that whole thing was grip.
Was it though?
Turning was hard,
Yeah, no, I
but
shouldn't have turned. I did poorly at that event, but I
dude,
don't feel like I feel like balance and moving them without them flailing all like the grip was really the least of my concerns with that.
I guess I was concerned about it. But like, I mean, it was heavy. It was like 200 pounds in each hand, which I
That's
don't
what they
know.
said.
It felt like 200 pounds in each
Did
hand
it?
or
Okay.
more. I didn't think it was under 200. It was
Okay.
insufferable, like walking with it. But going into this, like farmer's carry, I had a game plan. It was put them down and like turn and then re-grab them and go again. I think I did that once at the end when I like, gave up at the very end. I was like, oh man, I can't go anymore. So I put them down. Then I hear Brebner call out like 6 seconds left. And I was like, dadgummit. So I picked it up again and took off running, trying to get some more feet.
Yeah.
But like, but the whole time I was like circling around the cone or like around the line. And that was not the game plan going into it, but it's so heavy that I was just confused in the middle of it.
Yeah.
I'm not good at breathing, like when it comes to like doing heavy stuff for a long time.
Yeah. That's
But
a thing.
at least it wasn't like a shield carry. Man, if it was a shield carry, like I'll go till I pass out. Like, because like holding anything on my chest, like, dude, it gets me like fading away really quickly.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, but I mean, halfway wob is probably top tier 10th event for me. I guess it's enjoyable. It goes high. People like it. But
I've
we got to cover this more because I have a whole plethora of 10th event ideas that I would like to lay out for people in a method to do them. So like it makes it even more competitive than just like winning the 10th event.
oh yeah.
Yeah. That's a story for another day. So my turn on what I do for the off season.
Yeah, let's get into it.
So quick synopsis of my off season. It's lift, um, as much as possible. Generally, okay, so for previous years, I've done like a volume block, like bodybuilding style. Because I'm in a garage gym, like I'm lacking on like equipment. But if I had like a full commercial gym with like all the machines and whatnot, I will just go in there like a full blown like bodybuilder and then just hit all the machines and like 3 to 5 sets of 10 to 15 on everything and just kind of work my way around, do like a back and buys kind of day, and then do like a chest and tries and then legs and whatnot. They'll do like a whole split for 10 weeks. That depends on like what my off season looks like because it really depends on when the previous season ends and when the next one starts. Because I'll map all that out beforehand. So like last couple years with championships, like lightweight championships being in November and then like late October the year before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't, either
No,
way.
la the last lightweight worlds you went to
Mhm.
was late October.
Yeah, and so then the
It's at
one
my
before,
anniversary party.
right? And the other, yeah, your anniversary party,
Yeah.
and the one before that would have been like November 7th or something like that. Something
Yeah.
along those
Yeah.
lines in Tucson. And so I look at that, I'm like, that's pretty late. I only have this many weeks if I want to like hit the strength block at a certain time, because my season usually starts would be like, normally it's Wichita would be like my start, because they have one in
Yeah.
April and then one in September or October, depends on the year, I guess.
Is it-
They've been switching. They're not as consistent as they used to be, because it used to be like the first week of April.
But April gets tricky because of Easter.
Right.
So it has to shift around for that on occasion.
Yeah. But most times, like like it'll be around my birthday. That's kind of how I know. Like it's usually used to be usually the beginning of April, but so I kind of like planned it out. Like I have 10 weeks for this, and then the other few weeks, then we start into like our strength block, and then we find things to like look forward to in season. But so it's that high volume bodybuilding kind of phase. And since I don't have like a full commercial gym, I guess I could go to one, but I much prefer to be in my garage in the cold, my nice uninsulated
Oh,
garage. I just kind of I do like German volume training, like 10 by 10s, and I'll do that for about 4 to 5 weeks. Depending on how I feel, I will add in like a deload, but generally, I don't know, man. It's bodybuilding, so like I don't feel like I ever need to like slow down on it because it's not hard.
are you
And my
doing the squat, bench, dead on those, or just
Yeah, squat,
like?
bench, dead,
Oh,
overhead press. I do push press even during like a bodybuilding phase. Some guys I know will just do like a strict press, military press, or whatever you want to call it, um, because they're trying to build the muscle. But I don't know. I like to keep the timing, the rhythm. I feel snappy and stuff like that. Even if I'm doing sets of 10, I will do it on the push press, because that's, I don't know, what
strict
I'm
press is
used.
hard.
Yeah, like I got to find a new max and pro, because like everything I do, I program off of like a max rep or whatever, or it's like a single max, right? And so then I got to find like what's my max strict press right now. I don't like doing that. That's a grind. That's not fun.
Yeah.
So I'll do that for, you know, the 10, like strictly 10 by 10. And depending on how I feel coming into the off season, how strict I am going to be on like a prescribed weight for 10 by 10. Sometimes I'll build up to it and try to get as many as I can within that prescribed percentage of the 10 sets. Um, Previous years, like I'm like, oh, we're going hard, like 45%. We'll do this for 10 sets of 10. And that's not like super bad. The first week I get super, super sore. And so I'm
Yeah.
not doing a lot of throwing during that time. But I will usually, and this is because I program all my own stuff, and a lot of things I do are just off of feeling. I will cut that bodybuilding phase short, and because I'm looking ahead to the season, like what games I want to do. Um, I'm looking at like what other people are doing in like their off season in the gym. I'm like, man, I gotta push the strength now. So like like the last couple of years, I've cut the bodybuilding phase like 2 to 3 weeks short, just so I can get into the strength quicker. And
It's more fun anyway.
yeah, I mean, I'm very, like, so like I write all my stuff down. I used to use like an Excel sheet, but I don't type very good, so like it takes forever for me to like fill out an Excel sheet. But I
Yeah.
do like, so I started getting these like these bullet notebooks with like the dots, like instead of like lines or grids or whatever, it's just
Oh, yeah.
dots. And I like to draw my own lines. I'll get like a nice ruler, and I'll draw lines to make all my daily boxes of my, and then fill in by hand all the
Yeah.
things I'm planning to do that day. And I get a little like, I don't know, a little antsy in my pantsy, and I'll jump ahead and I'll just keep writing it, like drawing these boxes out and filling it out day by day for the next like 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. And I spent all this time doing that, which I had fun doing it. It's like I watch
Yeah.
Netflix and I just draw lines.
Yeah.
And then when I decide, I'm like, well, we're not doing this anymore. All that hard work is gone. The whole programming is a waste. But then I jump into like heavy stuff again, and I'll generally, the mid to late off season, it's going to be pretty much how I lift during the year, but I can go heavier because I can go heavier and have like more intensity because I'm not like saving myself for anything.
Hmm.
And I kind of look at it like if you get injured in the off season, then you might have time to like recover. Like if you tweak your back or like pull your hamstring or something like that, you might have time to recover before like the start of the season, or shortly after that you'll be ready to go. But if you're going super duper hard in season and you tweak something, then you're out. And then like the whole half the season's gone because you got injured in the middle of it. So like
Right.
I can ramp up the intensity in the off season. Um, Again, mostly because I'm watching what other people are doing. I'm like, I got to be better than that. They're going this hard, like I have to go harder
Right.
because that's how competitive I can get.
Right.
Especially like when I'm sitting here, like like away from everyone. I haven't been to a games in like months, and I'm just like, wow, I'm just getting caged up. I'm like, I got to do something. I got to show everyone what I'm doing for no reason. Like it's really
Right.
just it's all in my head. But that's like that's off season talk, you know.
Right.
But like once I get comfortable in that bodybuilding phase, which like a week or two, then I can start throwing again, and I will throw pretty almost all 9 events throughout the off season, except for like maybe hammers, because tacky doesn't do well in the cold.
Hmm. Yeah.
And like if the ground's frozen, then you can't kick it with blades, and I don't feel like it's worth it at all. I can do hammer winds and stuff like that, but like with my methodology, my ideas of like how to train hammer, it's like I can do away with like blades. I can like wind and stuff like that indoors, but I need tacky on, and so I can really like feel like that big stretch. Otherwise, I feel like I'm just kind of like just winding it around myself, you know.
Right.
Um, but since I don't have an indoor facility, it's all outdoors, and that's why you can't do hammers. But like stones, weights, sheaf, and wob. I also don't throw a lot of sheaf in the off season. Um, just because I don't like it. I don't know. I don't. It doesn't feel like the time of year for that.
I don't know. It might be getting a little bit too into it, but the metal in the tines is going to act differently when it's cold.
That's in the back of my mind too.
And I don't know if it's true to a degree in which you would notice or not, but
Yeah,
if it's in your head, then it's gonna
yeah,
make a difference.
yeah. And so like my I guess idea of like when I can throw is if there's snow on the ground, I generally won't throw. I'll do it sometimes. I feel like I've been sitting around for too many days and there's snow on the ground. I'll go throw in it. Generally off of concrete because the sidewalks are plowed and the streets are plowed, so like I can have some hard, good surface to throw off of. Um, but like I've devised like all sorts of like little methods to like keep myself warm during a throwing session in the off season because I'm in Kansas and like I mean it's not brutally cold. It's not like Danny in Alaska where he's got snow on the ground now and it's going to be there in April. Like
Yeah.
I don't have that. Like I will have times where most of the off season I won't have snow on the ground. So I just got to deal with the cold because like deal with snow, like there's all the wet and the problems that come along with that. Like you need like I don't know chalk and all that kind of stuff, you know. But I found that like I can throw a full training session, like 2 to 3 events, generally just two because I'm cutting out a hammer. Um, I have these. My wife used to make them all the time for like wintertime. They're like little we call them corn packs. You can fill them with rice or corn, and they're just like little fabric bags that are like filled with them. And you might put them in the microwave for like 2 minutes or whatever, and they come out warm. I microwave like 5 or 6 of those little guys and throw them in the back of the Forerunner, and the shot put sits on there between each throw, warms up. Um, those little like hot hands, um, you put them on like in your boots or in your gloves or whatever, like keeps your hand warm.
Yeah.
Put some of those in my gloves, and I throw with like a rubber palmed insulated glove. And if I do all these things and remember to bring my shot put inside like at night, I can throw pretty well. I can have a pretty good session. But if I leave it out in the car, there's no amount of corn packs or hot hands or anything to like fix that. Because dude, once you get that cold ball, the cold ball on your neck is not really the problem. It's the cold ball on your fingers, like that hurts, and like, you just can't
Yeah.
shake it. And if it's like, man, if it's like negative temperatures or close to, I'll go like I'll throw like 4 or 5 throws, and then go sit in the car, have the shot put on the floorboards, put like the defrosters on, and just go sit in the car for like 10 minutes till I warm up, and then go do it again. Do that for about three more times, and then that's a full practice session.
Yeah.
And I'll do that the entire off season. But I realize some people throw in different climates than me, but cold is cold. At a certain point, you just dress for it, and you'll be fine. It's the snow that becomes an issue. If you got snow on the ground all
Yeah.
the time, then
Yeah. I
but
mean, I also have a problem where wearing gloves messes me up a lot
yeah.
to where like I just won't ever put a glove on to throw.
Hmm.
So I just go through a whole bunch of tape. But I I was playing with using glove or not, and this is years ago, and maybe the problem solved itself, and I don't know because I won't put a glove on anymore. But I was throwing like I was having to fight to throw a 30-foot heavyweight for distance, the 42,
Hmm.
which was at the time still, it was not good for me. Took the glove off and didn't put anything under 36 for the rest of practice.
Yeah.
And I'm going to blame the glove for that.
You
Maybe I
know,
fix something else, but I'm blaming the glove.
yeah. And so what I started doing with like my glove, because like it's not, I mean, it's not like a big glove, but like it's just one of those slip-on ones that have like a full rubber palm, but it's got like insulation in there, thinsulate or something like that. I was taping my fingers like over the glove, so I at least kind of get like that same kind of like finger feel that I get normally. Because I normally tape my fingers, at least my first three, and it kind of like it gets me close to like what I should be feeling. It's not right. Just like if the ground's like if you're throwing off a concrete and the concrete's like moist or damp or whatever, you're not going to spin on it like you would on dry concrete. You just got to kind of like you just got to find the little things that you're doing that are helping. You're like, okay, I'm doing this, and that's I'm getting better because I'm focusing on these little things. You're not going to throw PRs in 30-degree weather, but
Not with that attitude.
well, I mean, yeah, I keep the positivity for other things, not winter practices. Those are
Right.
miserable, and I suck it up.
Yeah.
But so I guess that's a little bit of a I don't know if you're newer to the games, and like I feel like it's super important to throw in the off season, to go through like all that shitty weather, the cold, the finding ways to make it work. I think that's vitally important just to get more reps in, because
Yeah.
like I mean I look at like when I was first started throwing, the guys who I was throwing against, like they were taking off seasons, and I wasn't. I was continuing to throw all year long. And when we came back and threw at the same games next year, I was just a little bit better than I was the year before. And you do that compounding over every year.
Right.
You beat your competition out.
Well, there is also something to be said for throwing in the weathers. Like, like throwing in on mud.
Uh,
There is a technique to it that's a little bit different. It's a little bit slower. It's a lot more patient, but you can still throw decently out of a muddy trig if you know how.
right, right. I mean that's what they say. Like even like shot put coaches, they're like, oh yeah, rain, sleet, or snow, like you're going to be in the circle, you're going to be throwing, because like we're like early season, like that's what your meet's going to be like. It's going to be it's probably going to be raining or whatever, and like
Right.
you're gonna be doing it more than the competition is. I throw in rain, sleet, snow, generally not snow, but like muddy conditions. Like I'll practice. Like if I have a practice day scheduled, like in my head, like I'm going to go do it. I'm not going to like it, but I'm going to go do it. And I don't think it's ever helped me in the games, unfortunately. Like because there's been so many games where like it's like a chilly wind blowing, and I got to wear a hoodie now. And I'm like, well, there goes all my mobility because I'm wearing a hoodie. And like just like the littlest things will like take me out of like being
Oh,
super competitive. I'm like, well, the day's done now. It's
yeah.
but I
Have
think for some people, like that kind of like throwing in adverse conditions, like will build them some skill, will build them some grit, which I don't even like that word, but like that I don't know of a better term for it. Fortitude, I guess. But
resiliency.
yeah,
A lot of options.
right. So like it'll help build that, but I don't think it does it with me. I'm different.
Well, do you have any cleats that you throw in, or is it just your those soccer?
Yeah, I have. I've got they're indoor like soccer boots and some tennis shoes and like football cleats. So I'm like not the hard spiked football cleats. They're going to be like the whole rubber sole where they
Right.
have some give to them. I'm not clanking around when I walk on concrete and those things. I have those.
Have you have you tried throwing in mud with metal cleats?
No, just my football cleats. But the problem with throwing in football cleats is that it feels like you're throwing in football cleats. I don't
Yeah.
have I can't turn like I want to. I don't have the mobility I want to. So earlier
Yeah.
this year, I would throw. There was a and this was in McKinney, Texas, at the Lone Star Highland Games. The first day, the Saturday, got rained out. The crazy downpour all day long, and that's where they had all the masters throwing, and I think maybe lightweights as well. Huge masters class down in Texas, and
Yeah.
they all showed up for this one, and they all got rained out. And so the next day, it didn't stop raining until like middle of the night. The next day was nice and clear, but the ground was like just gushy, like you're walking on a waterbed. And so I was like, well, I went to Academy that night and I grabbed some football cleats, the ones I thought would work the best.
Hmm.
And I couldn't throw with both of them on.
Yeah.
I had to have a tennis shoe on my right foot and the football cleat on the other one. So just when I plant on stones, I don't just slip out. But that's not. It doesn't feel great. And
No.
after stones and heavyweight, I went back to soccer cleats at that point because that morning like wetness started to go away.
Yeah. And you're not gonna find some javelin cleats probably at Academy
No,
or
yeah,
high jump. High jump or javelin, I think, are the high jump because you get up on your toes more. If you're if you're struggling with that, throw some high jump shoes on because you can't like they're not designed for your heels to like ever touch. They're kind of like sprinter shoes,
right.
not quite as extreme. So it does
There's
get you
sprinter
up.
shoot. Go ahead.
It does get you up on your toes a little bit more,
Yeah.
which is nice. But I like the javelin because I do.
Well, I think most people use the javelin boots because they've got spikes on the heels, and
Yeah.
so that'll be good for everything else except for like stones and weights. Because like wob, like it keeps you like from like getting shifted around. You're
Yep.
locked in. Like
Don't
caber,
use them there. Don't
I
use them
mean,
there.
well, okay. Most guys are actually rocking one pair of shoes all day long, and I don't know how they do it.
Rookie mistake. Rookie mistake.
I've, I've got four or five pairs of shoes and Birkenstocks in my bag at all times. You never know. But like, yeah. So like, the high jump shoes they're very similar to like the Jav boots and look, but I think the high jump shoes like have like a little bit more flex to them. You can be a little more responsive on your toes. It's not so much you're in like a jav boot, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But those are way more hard to find than jav spikes are.
Really?
I've seen jav boots for sale in store. I've never seen high jump shoes.
Really?
Yep.
Well, 'cause I don't think they throw javelin in high school in Nebraska,
No.
which really cuts down on their availability at
It,
playing against sports, which is where
it,
I look for my throwing shoes.
it's a good spot. Very underrated.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've also never seen shot put shoes sold in stores. Okay, besides Play It Again, like at a Dick's or Academy. I've never seen even in season before
Yeah.
season.
Last time I looked, I was looking for spikes. I think it was at Shields or Dick's, and they had convertible throwing shoes to
What are
where
those?
it was the slicks, but they still had the spots to put the spikes in,
Oh, interesting.
so you could throw. I don't know if they're like. I don't know what they're for.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Well, because like
Multiple pairs of shoes. That's the rule
if
now.
if you were doing a decathlon and you
Okay.
had throwing events and jumping and running, and you wanted one pair of shoes, but then I also feel like NCAA requires like you have to use just eighth or quarter inch spikes. And I don't know if you've ever
Possibly.
tried to get those out. They don't come out.
No.
They get worn down a little bit and they're rounded and they're stuck in there forever.
Yeah.
So if anyone knows how to get those out, let me know.
Yeah.
I just replaced the shoes. They're done.
Yeah. They're over.
These are ruined. I can't use them anymore. The spikes are all ground down, and I'll just get a new pair.
Yeah.
But no,
But
I think, especially if you're just starting, nothing is going to help you throw farther than throwing more. So the more you can do that, the better.
right.
But also, no one's going to blame you if you don't want to go out in sub-freezing weather to jam a
Uh,
wet, cold stone up against your neck to get a couple reps in.
I mean, I guess I'm not going to judge you, but I will like ask you to strongly reconsider. But yeah, for sure, more reps are better than none.
Have you? I guess that's not really the big concern. If you just got a indoor shot and just threw fully in a parking lot, I don't know if that helps.
That required me to get an indoor shot. It's still cold. Like that's the biggest issue. It's
Yeah,
just
but
the
cold
cold.
plastic's not nearly as bad as cold metal.
Yeah. Well, the cold metal is not bad, especially if you're running like two events. You do a stone and a weight. The you'll like if you throw 10 throws with the stone, that's a decent practice. If you have one more event coming, and the stone or shot won't get like super cold in that amount of time, unless it's like really bad. But I don't know. I mean, obviously, yeah, plastic is nicer,
Yeah,
but also
for
chalk
sure.
the shit out of the stone. Like just cover that whole thing in chalk every single throw, and it is like a nice little barrier between you
The,
and like your
uh,
neck and the thing.
Pro tip for garage gym users in the winter: just use a bunch of chalk. It actually does help a little bit.
It does help a little. I drag my barbells inside. Like
I
we'll see.
should, I should, but I
Yeah,
don't.
it's a problem because I like if I forget they're there and I trip over them like coming in the door with groceries, I get really annoyed. But in a couple hours when I go out there and lift, I'm really glad that they're inside.
Yeah, it's real rough to, especially like like in the winter if I'm doing squats, I'll put gloves on.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm doing like even deadlifts or cleans or snatches or anything like that, where your grip on the bar matters.
Yeah.
Not wearing gloves.
I'll use straps
I
on
do use
those
straps,
because
not
like
so
that
much cleans, but the other stuff.
yeah when I do cleans with straps, like I'm like super loose on them, like they're not doing much, but like I feel like I have to. I don't know, but I'm not good
Yeah,
at cleans either. So,
I know.
but
I don't fall over on clean. I have in the past.
mhm.
Doesn't happen very often, so it's probably not a problem. But it's one of those things where it's not a problem until it's a problem, and it's a real big problem.
Do you like this? Are the straps you use? Do you use like the weightlifter straps, like the teardrop shaped ones, or do you use
No,
like the
I am
powerlifting
using
straps?
I'm using powerlifting strongman straps that I won from the NOV meet in Topeka where they had the Highlander.
Yeah,
And then it was just me and Travis. So I won the Highland Game events and he won the strongman events. And when we split the prize, I got knee sleeves, elbow sleeves, and straps. And he got a bottle of whiskey, I think. I don't know.
yeah,
It worked out.
dude, that was a very as a fun games. I I, I didn't compete because I was still pretty new, but like I threw sheaf with everyone. I
Yeah.
asked if I could throw sheaf, and they're like, "Yeah, go ahead." There's like four of us, and I'm like, "Yes." So I threw sheaf,
Matt
and
and Matt Vincent threw sheaf with us too.
yeah, he
That was
did.
cool.
He was like, like you were there, and like we didn't
Yeah.
really know each other yet.
Nope.
That was like before this. I don't recall ever talking to you before like at that time. But Matt
No.
Vincent threw sheaf with us, and this is like
No.
right after his knee surgery, his knee replacement, and he's like, "I'll just go till I miss," and his sheaf sounded way different than all of ours. Like it made like a good like pop off the bag, off the times, and I was like, none of ours are doing that at all. He just missed once. He's like, "Yeah, it's good," and walked away.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah,
Well, yeah, I think this is long enough to know that I don't remember exactly how it happened, but he asked if he could use my fork, and this was back when I had really thin tines.
mm-hmm.
So that's all I needed. I'm like, maybe
Yeah,
you might blow completely through these tines and send it way out the side, but give her a go.
yeah,
I think he had one good pull with a 16, and then like actually tried and lost the bag on it,
yeah."
something like that. But yeah, that was I'm still a little disappointed that they were going to do an invitational the next year, and then they just didn't.
Yeah, that was COVID year.
Was it? I have probably.
Yeah, because that was the year they were going to do the big NOV meet with like
Yeah.
I don't know. It was going to be a big blowout. Never happened.
Yeah. Well,
But
they had sent
we
out
could
the invitations to because they were going to do a pro am. Where it's going to be men and women's pro, and then lightweight
yeah.
with the group. And they sent out those invitations. They had the teams ready, and then there's just like, never mind.
Psych. Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else on off season training, or did we cover it all?
Do conditioning.
It's a silly thing to say.
Yeah, no one wants to
I
do it, so it just doesn't happen, and you feel like you can get away with not doing it, but do it.
Yeah, so that's like one of those things that like it's good for you. Like this isn't like throwing the Highland Games isn't life as much as we want it to be. There are other things, and having like a good healthy body is probably better. A good healthy heart,
Yeah.
but I mean, because like I don't know, like I do the absolute bare minimum conditioning, and that's pushing a sled, but that's more for like power output than anything.
I really like pushing a sled, and I can't right now. and I just haven't convinced myself to buy one of the tanks to do sled pushes with, but I don't have enough room in my garage to push a sled, and I feel like it's going to be way too noisy out on the street at
It it's very much
before
one of
6
those.
a.m.
Yeah, it's very much look at me. It's one of those exercises. Look what I'm doing.
Right?
I've been big on you pushing the prowler because I've got like one of those like it's a three-legged like push
Yeah.
sled. You can push and
Yeah.
pull. There's like high and low handles.
Yeah, no, love
Um,
those.
yeah, they're great. But I just moved into this new place and it's got a three-car garage. It's a pretty good three-car garage. And I'm like, can I push a sled in there? And like once I started getting all my stuff moved in, I was like, there's no way in hell I can push a sled in here. And then outside, it's gravel driveway, and then the road, it's a dirt road or gravel road. So I'm like, it doesn't really push there.
Yeah.
Maybe it can, but I don't know. So I'm just sitting on this sled that I don't think I can do anything with. So that's fun.
Put some wheels on it and strap an old like washing machine motor on them for some extra resistance, and you'll be set.
Maybe. What would be really
What
sick
could
is
go
like
wrong?
I can't remember which one it was, but there was some like sled pushing thing. It was on wheels and had like an electric motor that like the harder you pushed on it, the more resistance it gave.
Yeah.
And so like I thought those were pretty slick because like you don't need a ton of space. Like if you're just doing for like power output and stuff, like
Right.
you don't need a ton of space to really like get resistance on it. Like I could probably push it in this garage and just get like 5 6 steps in it of like me just going all out and it just slowing it down. But those are very expensive. That's
Yeah.
that is not for
Yeah.
the average home gym owner.
No. Although at One Up, they did install a ramp. They just had a staircase and then a AstroTurf ramp next to it.
Okay.
Doing sprints up that was, I mean, it was miserable, but I liked that it
Wait,
was
so it was
there.
like a staircase and like the hill was like as steep as the stairs?
Yeah,
That's very steep.
it was very steep. It was like it is a single flight of stairs, so not a super long sprint, but a good
Could you
seven.
could you slide down it like a slip like a slide? Because that sounds awesome.
We, I don't remember. I don't think it worked super great for that. And they also had
Ah,
the beads under the AstroTurf stuff.
mm-hmm.
And I think that was kind of on. Well, that would have been all worked out pretty quick.
Maybe with a yoga mat. So
No,
my
like you could definitely use a sled and get down there pretty quick.
so I'm thinking I would do like bounding jumps up the stairs, and then to
Yeah,
reward myself from that hard work, I could slide down the slide. Dude, I'd go to that gym every day.
yeah, no, it's good. Which they did. I don't know if you watched any of it or not. At the, I think it was the Rogue Invitational last year for CrossFit. One of their workouts ended or had a hill sprint, and you had to come back down this hill, and it was wet last year.
Yeah, that was at like the backdrop of like the baseball diamond.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but a couple people figured out that you could slide down it, so they
Dude,
just got to the top and then just slid down.
how cool would it be to have the confidence that you go belly first?
Right.
Dude, that'd be most badass of the CrossFit Games or the Invitational. Yeah, that's all I got on off season stuff. Just be better than everyone else. It'll pay off
Yeah,
eventually.
yeah.
Just
Well, and another thing on conditioning
mhm.
that I'm not. I feel like I've had better years where I'd spent more time doing conditioning stuff than I do now. And when that was the case, and maybe I was just all around not as good of a thrower, so it didn't make as big of a difference. But I didn't feel like the order of events mattered to me. Like I was gonna throw what I was gonna throw, whether I did it first or last. Like the long day didn't affect me as much when I was better conditioned.
I could definitely see that. I only get concerned about the order of events, not because like I'll be more gassed than anyone else. It's just that if I throw hammer first or like the first couple events, my back's gonna be torn up by the end of the day, or but like by
Yeah,
the third or fourth event, because like I break myself on hammers, and that's just how I throw them. It's not nice.
yeah. No, I don't. It's not to the point where if they publish the order of events ahead of time and I'm throwing hammers first, then I'm gonna back out of a game. But I will consider it.
Yeah,
Like I'll start anywhere. Being a lightweight in the Midwest, it's usually the height events.
yeah. I was gonna say you're gonna start at Wob, which I hated as a lightweight because that's also one that's like that's always been like hard for me, hard
Yeah,
on me, I guess.
right. Yeah, which is I think it's hard on a lot of people.
Yeah.
I don't, like, and it does also depend on when in the season. Because if it's the July games, I think the order of events matters less. But when you're starting the day and it's still 40 degrees, like I don't
Yeah.
know, being
That's
able to ease into throwing.
that's too cold for me.
Yeah,
That's yeah. That's when I have a hoodie on and I'm mad about it.
yeah. Well, and I have this problem of having pants on while I'm competing
Hmm.
is
Yeah.
a huge problem, which is crazy because I practice with pants on all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if I'm competing and I've got those sweatpants on, well, that's mainly on Wob, right? Because we're probably going to start the day at Wob and I'll have sweatpants on, and I really plant that left hand on my left quad pretty hard.
Hmm.
And then I'm a very strong rituals when I throw, and so it's get the kilt hiked out of the way, plant the left hand on the compression short, outside swing, inside swing, and throw. And if I can't plant, because there's just like, the sweat pant doesn't plant the same way. Like
Right.
I start getting to hard throws, or like if I need to have something dialed in, like I gotta take those pants off, throw, and get them back on.
Yeah. I hate throwing with layers. It kills me inside. All
You
right.
gotta have
What?
you need like a layered coat with all the layers that can get undone with one zipper, so you can strip down, throw, and get it back on real quick.
Dude, I want like I remember like growing up, I had a cousin. He was like into swimming. He was a swimmer,
Mhm.
and he had like those big like swimmers robes that like are
Oh yeah,
huge and like they're like fleece lined and like really warm. I'm like thinking we need to get those for the games and just like drape ourselves with them, strip it off, throw, put the big ass robe back on.
I feel like they'd get ruined so fast.
Oh, we'll just destroy them very quickly. but, but
So old towels together. I don't know.
yeah. Okay, so now on to the other topics, which are I guess first we got a correction. We made an error on our first episode with when we were talking about Vlad and John Van Buren going head to head and see who's going to come out on top because they're both undefeated. It was brought to our attention that John Van Buren, JVB, is we got second in Enumclaw this year, so technically he's not undefeated. Easy
Uh,
mistake, but I don't know how that worked out or how we thought that's how it
we'll
was, but we did.
we'll get new fact checkers for the
Yeah.
future.
Well, the beauty of having such a large audience, you guys keep us honest and
Yeah,
will correct us when we're wrong. And even when we're right, you tell us that we're wrong. But It's good.
That was this weekend. Either
Yes,
way,
that
still exciting.
yes.
Still an exciting matchup.
Yeah, because they're definitely two Titans like primed and ready to go. So them head to head is pretty sick. But did you see how it actually turned out?
I believe Vlad
Yep,
still undefeated.
it looks like Vlad's undefeated, which is very cool. And I meant
Yeah.
to look up, as we talked about before, like when is the last time someone had like an undefeated game or season? Um, I didn't look that up, so as of right now, Vlad's holding it down.
Uh, well, it was just because we didn't look it up. I'm going to say it was Donald Denny, and it's been 150 years.
Yep, he's had 75 undefeated seasons. Okay, so yeah, and some other news. There's rumors, I guess. NASGA, our glorious database, is going away. I saw some quick posts on some Facebook group or some message or something that said NASGA is going away at the end of the year. So that's interesting.
It'll be fine.
Yeah,
It'll
I
be
mean
fine.
we have there's other things to use now. We don't just have to rely solely on a 30-year-old website. We have a newer one that does all the same stuff and more and better.
Yep. So
So
keep an eye out for the 9 Point Day shared Google Sheet. They will all just put our numbers in.
I don't think we need to do that.
Just
So
one page. Just put your name in, whatever scores you want. Just side scroll till you find where you fit alphabetically, and just keep going down that column.
that will definitely get abused so fast. But
Yep.
yeah, so that's pretty much that. Just tune into the news, our news. We'll give you the lowdown of what's actually going to happen with that in the future. So that's pretty much it. We're coming up on time. And while NASGA still exists, we all still use the NASGA Facebook group on Facebook. So like reach out to people on there. Everyone will be more than willing to point you in the right direction to find like throwing groups and find games.
Yep.
Just so you're not strung out to dry when or hung out to dry when you have a desire to throw and like meet other people who are doing this, and you have no outlet to find that. So, but like look up those things, and that will help you out a ton. Um,
All right. So we gotta do a shout out to Coach Hauser. First 9 Point Day sent in via the Instagrams. So if you do throw a 9 Point Day, give us an at, or is it? I don't use anything other than loosely social media or use loosely Instagram. Is it? Are we at? Are we on anything other than Instagram and YouTube?
yeah, Instagram, YouTube at 9 Point Day HG. That's where you'll find us. That's where you'll tag us. If you have a 9 Point Day, do that.
What
We want to see it.
was 9 Point Day without the HG taken?
No, I don't know. I just see a lot of. Now you make me feel insecure about it. Okay, so I thought it was a good idea to kind of like I don't know, let our people know that this is a thing that they're into. Because they're like I've talked to a lot of people, and they're like, if I ever see someone in a kilt or someone doing a throwing event in their profile picture, or it says like HG or something like that, like they're automatically going to follow. So I was just like, yeah, throw HG in there so everyone knows what this is.
So another tangent. Uh, Someone commented on an old video of mine. I don't know why I specified it was an old video of mine
Mm-hmm.
because it's my Instagram. They're all old
They're
videos.
old, yeah.
But he commented, and the comments kind of irrelevant. But I was looking at my hashtags, and the very last hashtag on that post was not pillows.
Not pillows.
Not pillows. And so I don't know if you did this. I added hashtag throws to my Instagram follows,
Mm-hmm.
and that does get you throws. It also gets you a whole bunch of throw pillows and a whole bunch of throw blankets in your feed.
Oh, your feed is wildly different than mine.
Yeah, so would recommend against, and like I like would downvote or like get this off my feed for a long. I finally gave up, so I just like every like fifth post like pillows.
You're a
Yeah,
pillow man
whatever.
now. Instagram
Yeah,
knows it.
yeah,
They know what you like. It's the algorithm.
yeah. Don't question the algorithm.
Yeah, it knows. All right, but so that's all we got for this episode. Yeah, again, comment, like, subscribe, all the stuff on the YouTubes, and we appreciate all the views over the last couple episodes. We do appreciate it very much. That's it. As always, throw far. God bless.